Hello, it's Carol Martine again, and I'm back in my studio having a look back at my art from 2016. This time, I thought I'd look back at The Secrets of Pistolet, an altered book journal. I started this way back in the early spring, and you must admit that I could not resist finding such a delicious book as this. Secrets of Pistolet just called out for some fun in art. I've marked the pages that I worked on, but as you can see, it was quite a delicious book with many pages that had this lovely vellum overlay. First job that I did was this one. And on this, I started with a nice thin coat of clear gesso, as I remember, and then I used my very favorite sky blue color with some off-white to make my sky, my grasses, and then my flowers. If you'll notice, this was all done in acrylic, and in order to push the flowers and the entire page back a little bit, I used my brayer and stepped it back just a little bit. This was my getting my feet wet page, so to speak. The next one was this lovely page with these beautiful sunflowers, and I used them as the focal of this spread. Here again, I can feel my clear gesso to set my page up, and this I remember digging out of my scrap pile, so I collaged this one on and further embellished here again with acrylics and some of my homemade stamps. Weren't the illustrations in this book just beautiful? The third piece was, for some reason, it just called to me, primarily because it has this recipe card included in it, Potage of the Heart. So I tried to make very sure that this card became part of the background, including using the pocket that came on this page. But I did leave this illustration from the book because I just thought it did not need any messing with. Here again, I can feel my clear gesso, and I've become quite the fan of clear gesso. I used some of my silk embroideries ribbon to further embellish this page. My fourth piece was my first try with the vellum overlay. And as you can see, my first use in this altered book of the lovely Target paint Shimmer Egg, I added this flower into this hand area because of the colors that I found already in the lovely lady and these two petals. These are stamps, and you'll notice what a lovely job stamps do on vellum. This is to play up the cloud around her head. This is a metallic marker. And there again, it plays up the color on the hot air balloon with the puppy in it. On this page, I went back to my sky and some of my smaller stamps, my bees and birds, that seem to just work a treat. And if you will notice, the vellum does not hide the under painting at all, and you can still see hints of this sky through here. And the young lady standing in front of this flower, and if you'll notice the color in her hat. And here again, another one of our lovely pistolate sunflowers. This was great fun. Here is another page that had writing on the vellum, and two more of those petals, which helped me to pick colors. Oh, I'm going to save that part for a moment. Which helped me to pick colors for these stamped flowers. And I made an arbor, following through again with the sky. And my, isn't she lovely? This was a favorite page. She's such a pretty, pretty photo, and it was originally in sepia colors, and I just added just the tiniest bit of coloration to her lips, her eyebrows, around her eyes, her nostrils. I did not want to do too much to make the colors too strong, because I just felt as though it was not necessary. And if you'll notice, there she is peeking through the letter. Here, the page has crocus or saffron flowers, and I played up these two colors using a new stencil that had absolutely nothing to do with crocus that I could tell, other than that was the design on the overall design on the stencil, but it seemed to have worked a treat with the crocus over here. This crocus card opens. We found this in Pistolate many years ago. We believe it belongs to you. Love and kisses, Claude and Andre. Here again, I tried to carry through some of my design onto the inclusion. I'm sure you're seeing now why I did enjoy this book. And here, another young lady. Grape leaves on the vellum overlay. So, grape leaves here. I tried my hand at painting some grapes onto this page. And you know, I was kind of happy with the way they came out. I tried to stay in the color patterns that I had seen here and in here. Again, the background colors that I had used throughout for the sky. I made a border in my Jo Sonja Standby Gold, some stamps, but in general, these grapes were great fun to do. I added some stamps onto the vellum overlay, and as you can notice, that really is something to remember. And as I remember, all of these stamps were done throughout on all of the overlays, the vellum overlays, in StazOn. And as soon as they dried, they were wonderful. They did not move at all. This girl was rather pale, so as you can see, I just gave her just a little bit more oomph by adding a little bit of the gold to follow through from over here on her hat, her straw hat. I embellished her hair, her tendrils of hair just a little bit, and I worked on her eyes to make them pop just a little bit, and I went into her inside of the whites of her eyes and added a little gray, and that certainly helped them to show the shape, the roundness, and just a little bit on her lips. I was thinking as to whether or not I would do anything with her cheeks, but I did not do that because I just didn't want to overdo her. So as you can see, the secrets of Pistolets were much fun to work on. In fact, there are one or two more that I think might be fun for me. I might come back to that early next year and do a few more and see where I can go. It was such a wonderfully fun project. And here she is through the box. My other project that I wanted to share this time were the Secret Lives of Princesses. On the day that I found Pistolet, I also found this rather large but lovely book. Here is my first try at a princess. So, as you can see, this is a very large spread. I did not do very much to her face at all, but I got a chance to use some of my large, long and narrow stencils. I worked on some of my carol flowers, as I call them, and these were some more learning pieces. So this must have been back quite early, although I did not, for some reason, I did not date this page, but it had to be very far back in the early part of the year. I used the natural sections on the page and kept them. This background on this page covering up the text was done in a very muted flower stencil that I have. This is one of my own stamps, embellished, as you can see, to work with the colors on the page. Another project was this one. And here I used some gold embossed napkins as the leaves for this princess, and as you can see, she is it's a very small part of this page, but so very lovely. I had great fun, and I shall do it again many times, I think, doing her hair in this manner. I think that hair just speaks to her. I embellished her shawl. I'm feeling that I used some light molding paste on these flowers. Here is another one of my oblong stencils. And here's a favorite stencil of mine, more of my Jo Sonia Gold. The tree. I did not do very much on it other than to add some embellishments and the leaves tipped in onto that page, and some more of my Carol flowers, which I more and more was learning, and I'm still learning how to do. But oh, I do love this princess. I don't know whether it's that beautiful coat, her hair, and as I remember, the background for this page was on a molded squeegee, and I just had the greatest fun on this background. I think this might be one of my favorites. Here is Princess Thumbelina, probably because she's so tiny and would fit into a thimble. And for her, I decided to turn back the edge of this page because I think I liked the fact that it broke this page up a little bit. I employed my oblong stencil again, but on this one, I played more with my various colors of my shimmers from Target and made almost a mandala around Princess Thumbelina and worked the background in many shades. I have some silver, some bronze, and some of my gold Jo Sonia colors here. Because after all, she's such a little princess, I thought she needed all the bang she could get. So this page was another experimentation. And as you can see, the only thing I embellished on the princess was to very lightly touch her eyes, nostrils, just so that they would show a little bit more clearly. Princess Me Too. Princess Me Too, as you can tell, is quite the lounging girl. So I thought she kind of spoke for herself, and you notice her midriff is showing. She's quite the girl. And here again, playing with some of my flowers, and the background, which this section is the background for this page, on this as part of the spread. I left it showing in its true colors, so to speak. Would you believe that Princess Me Too is the daughter of a Maharaja? I think I do understand that. Some doodle flowers, and some more practicing getting depth on those painted flowers, which were acrylic underneath, and of course my shimmer egg on top. It was quite interesting to do because I wanted to push this page back, this part of the page, back color-wise. So before I did anything on this, I of course applied my clear gesso, and then on top of that, I laid on my my white in order to a very thin coat of it to kind of veil this and push it back. And this is some stenciling, again with my Jo Sonia Gold. This was the last princess that I have done in this book. And here again, when I look back through, I see that there are some princesses that might, oh my, that might be still calling for me. So I think I will be getting back to these princesses in the new year. If you'll notice, this lovely book is stitched. It is made so well that it is a stitched binding on this. If you have enjoyed my sharing of these altered books, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you think it might be fun to go on a little bit more in these 2 altered books. Share with a friend, and I would so appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. Bye now. I'll be back for number 3 soon.